Mm. Greetings. Okay, I'm just unprepared like what? And coming to you again live from, why is the camera streaking? Coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya, where I know that if I start this show off early, I will not have problems with my internet. Thus, the problem of stalling is because of the hour, during the hour of the day when I'm normally doing shows. So let's watch this one. Anyway, today's topic is, what is today's topic? Today's topic is why blacks don't understand that the deck is stacked against them in the U.S. Why we don't understand this is the subject of our conversation today. Now, I want to start off with about the dying out of the ADOS movement. The quick thing I want to say on that one is blacks in the United States are believing that they are owed money, and in order for there to be a movement, there has to be a reasonable thought that they could get the money. You would join a movement if you knew that the movement's main aim is not going to have any chance of happening. You join the movement because you think that if you join and maybe some other people join and you guys have a strong enough voice, you're going to get some money. You're going to meet your objective. You know, the people in power will cave into your demands, but this can't happen for one fundamental fact, and that is that during slavery, we were not people. Because we want to go back and say, okay, we suffered through slavery, therefore you owe us reparations. Blacks were not considered people. We were considered property. So back then, when we were considered property, not even mentioned in the Constitution, we can't have a voice to say, okay, because you beat your plow horse. That plow horse had generations down the line. The plow horses of the day deserve reparations or deserve money because you beat your plow horse back then. Now, who knew that the plow horses later down the line is going to turn into people? You see, but black people of today, are not the same as the property of back then. Now, this is all really, it's not necessarily really go into because the majority of whites in the country today are overwhelmingly against giving black people money. And we have 400 years of experience to show that shit, what white people want, they basically gonna get. And what they don't want, they don't get. They don't get. They're relentless in the facts of fighting over things. And definitely if they have, if we lose racism as a point, they obviously not going to change their economic oppressive ways and do a 360 and then start giving the very same people that they've been racist against, racism being only economics, turn around and give them money. The entire wealth of blacks in the United States comes to about $1.5 trillion. The entire wealth of the United States is about $85 trillion. We don't have nothing in the beginning. So even if they was able to scuff up 1.5 trillion to give us, that would only sustain us for less than a year. So unless you're talking like lots of money, which America definitely is not going. Whites are never going to agree for that. Congress is never going to pass the bill. Whites will go to war over taxes. Political careers have been destroyed and made over taxes. So you can just imagine how whites are gonna feel with something like that. No way. It's just impossible. So the whole idea of staying in America because we're gonna get a check, that's just nonsense. And ignorant people will always follow and go for some nonsense. They don't know the history, and that's the case. What's up, Helias? Greetings, my brother, to you too. Glenda, Hotep to you too. So, speaking on that issue of money, I wanted to go into this point quick about the economic outlook for Black people. The economic outlook for our people, of course, we all know is bleak. And in the future, 5 years from now, I want to discuss on that too, of where will we be in 5 years? Where will Blacks be in 5 years from now? Where will America be in 5 years? Is another, interesting question. And I see that we are going to be having a lot of major changes coming up in the next 5 years. And I'm looking for that paper. I can't see it. But anyway, I know it by heart. You're going to have China replace the United States as a definite superpower, although it already has. It's just that the American media has not decided that they wanted to come on and pronounce that. Tucker, what's up, Kevin? What time is this? Evening, morning? Oh, it's early. It's early morning for you there in New York. Okay, Karibu. So that comes with a lot of things. When you see like China is going to be announced as the superpower and the U.S. is now number 2 economically, when the United States finally gets around to saying it's true, that's going to mean a lot of different things, because a lot of countries are going to see that they can side with China as opposed to America. And America, international commitments in the world have really not given her many friends. She's been going over the countries and doing regime change and destroying leaders, assassinations. The history is long, and everybody in the government knows the realities of the situation. And so when they have a choice between the United States and China, China has never invaded any country in its history. African leaders practically love her. You can go on my Facebook channel, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Modern Africa. There's an article there with Mugabe speaking at the second China-Africa conference, and where he's explaining how the history of China is great, and that Africa is going to continue to do business with China well into the future. That's 16 years after they made the first agreement, and they're back again to do another agreement. So that is one thing that's going to be happening in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, Africa will be more attractive than it is today. And Blacks will no doubt have very little argument in the fact that why are Black people leaving the United States and moving to Africa. Right now, they're seeing it. And right now, they have these ridiculous reasons. China is too taking over. The African militaries are too weak, and these things are not holding water. And I'm damn sure going to help destroy those silly myths. But Africa will be far more attractive. And what you're also going to get in 5 years is you're going to start having celebrities, well-known Black Americans leaving America and moving into Africa. And once that happens, the talk will be on. The people have to be talking in. And they're going to have to ask those questions. What's in Africa? Now, of course, the Western media is probably going to try to spin it around and say, their life that they're living in Africa is not that good for some, and, you're taking a chance if you go there. Yes, they have no racism. Yes, the countries are developing at a lot faster rate. Yes, the people are really friendly, but the United States still has this and that, and this, whatever they're going to say is going to be ridiculous at the end of the day. In 5 years, we're going to come to the realization that no political party, Democrat or Republican, really give a crap about us. Our numbers are dwindling, and that's not going to end. In 5 years, they'll be doing a census. They'll be showing that we are more minority than we were 5 years ago. For 10 years prior. So no political party is really going to care to deal with Black issues. In fact, I'm sure that many politicians will probably take the stand that they best not to even discuss about Black issues, because it would give their opponents something to talk about, and it's not even worth it because the votes are not that powerful anymore. Not like in the 1960s when we did have a very powerful voice and we could even make presidents sign and enact laws. But today, Blacks are too little, too separated in the no Black community. It really makes that terrible. And 5 years from now, we'll be feeling the serious effects of that. So another thing is that colleges is going to be revoking diplomas based on pressure from banks that have students that have debt. You guys, that's my prediction. You'll be seeing that coming true in the next 5 years. So Blacks that have diplomas that are, and whites that have debt, colleges are going to be forced to revoke diplomas for people that have outstanding debt and not trying to take care of it. So you might have a degree, a master's degree, and be unemployed, and you're still looking for work elsewhere, and you'll find your college has revoked your diploma or suspended your diploma if that's possible, so that they can effectively get money or even sue students for loans. Now, probably that this is going to be pressured in by the banks. So, at 5 years from now, debt handling is going to be changing. It's going to be put more pressure on the consumer to pay their loans. They're going to have more things taken away from us. You can get your driver's license taken away from you. You can. They got so many laws that they're coming up with, and these banks are going to really be trying hard to pressure consumers to pay off their debt, and this is going to be a serious thing. Yes, when the Republicans and Democrats are two wings of the same bird, and this is what the first thing you would come to realize when you realize that they're not going to help you in any way. We have Blacks that went to the Republican Party and thought they were going to drive more Blacks to the party. It didn't really work, and Trump is making it more difficult with trying to deal with Blacks on a non-racial basis. It's like he can say I'm helping Blacks, but at the same time, he's really just trying to do just a little bit more than what Obama did, and that's not that hard to do. So, Blacks just don't get it. We just don't get it. If Blacks understood the situation, the history of what America has really done to us, Black people, 50% of Black people are down their tools right now and started planning for moving out of the country. It's just that we don't have a sense of what is really going on. And a lot of that is to do with the media. And the problem with the media is that it has a role to play as far as keeping the majority people happy. So they're going to make any story going to look like I gotta, favor. They gotta favor the whites. Hmm? So, uh, okay, coming to visit Kenya. I got a message here that's saying I should hide it. Oh, you want to put your email address? It's up to you. I am make it welcome. Come to Tanzania in November for a month at a minimum. I want to visit Kenya too. Definitely, you'll come to Kenya, and then you're gonna be mad that you went to lived in Tanzania first. Because when you come to Kenya, you'll just flow easy with the people. People all speak English normally. There's more hip hop. Where Tanzania's present government is trying to move away from English and trying to separate itself identity from the Kenya by going more African, and that's going too fast. You have to because a lot of for it's too fast for uh, the diaspora black. Because you come from the United States and you're going to go to Tanzania, they're going to speak Swahili, and then when you tell them you only speak English, they're going to look at you strangely. But if you're in Kenya and you just say I'm speaking English, then they're just going to say, "Oh, okay," and then they start speaking to you in English. The population is much more educated than in Tanzania, also, and people are more fun in Kenya than they are in Tanzania. Now, I'm not saying Tanzania is not a great place. I'm just saying if you're black from the city in the United States and you come here and you want to check things out and see if it might be a place for you to live, you'll find that it's much easier in Kenya. People are much more tolerant and much more easy to get along with. And if you have trouble and you're walking on the street, you can get it, you can ask somebody and they're going to help you. When you go in Tanzania, you might have to ask somebody to get somebody else to answer the question for you that know English. You get me? So it's like, like that. Now, I was in Tanzania. This is what I ran into. I have a good friend. He was living in Arusha. Then he came to visit in Kenya. Then he went home and packed his bags. Now he's living in Kenya. So, don't cement your feet into the ground where you in Tanzania before you get a chance to check out other areas, whether it be Kenya or whether it be another country. So, take your time in choosing where you want to, lay your hat. Okay, I'm going to travel back and forth. Great, no problem, But anyway, back to what I was saying about the United States is blacks. I said earlier that blacks have 1.4 trillion dollars, and that America's total wealth is 85 million. Now, 1.4 trillion from 16% of the population, the people that 16 population is not very good. Coupled with the fact that most blacks don't own businesses, the majority of blacks work for the government, so they're just getting a paycheck, in some way or form. The manufacturing side is being devastated, and we are the ones that feel it the most. In other words, the Titanic is sinking, and we blacks are at the bottom decks. So you know who's going to drown first. Facts. The history, Kevin. History is key. Yeah. So I never am going to change 400 years to live in an Amber Gibbs America. I'm good. Not good for family or mental health. The fact about the family, not good for the family, is something that I discuss, and I don't understand why. When I talk about that issue about what about your children, the chat line, the comment sections, they go silent, as if like the people that are in this group don't have kids, or I'm not talking to them. But the fact of the matter is, if you ain't got a human, you're gonna have kids. You see, and it's up to you where they're gonna grow up. You see. So I had kids that born in America, and I look at this situation, and it's like a 50-50. Some of them have good, some have good issues, some have bad issues, and you know, but in the overall sense of the thing, you have a very big problem, which you may not understand because you're living in the context of the United States as a country that's not uh, racist. But I want to point out to the fact to you that we didn't already establish that Americans is biased towards blacks. They did a study in 2002 out of Chicago University that said in 2002 they said that 50% of white people that were interviewed in this study came out to be openly biased towards blacks. I mean, they wouldn't shop at no black business. They didn't have no black friends. They don't trust blacks. They are uncomfortable working around blacks. They just straight out said it. 50% of Americans, white Americans, is like that. And then they did the other part of the study. They found 50% had unconscious bias, meaning that they had two stores to go to, and one was black-owned store, one was white. They go to the white-owned store just because, they would have a choice of doing business with a black contractor and a white contractor. They just go with the white contractor, or maybe they come up with some reasons, but they, if they had a choice, they would look at that. There was also a study that was done and showed that they did some resumes, and exact same resume, but the name on the resume was changed. One had, Nancy and Billy, and the other one had like Jamal and Kabuka. And when the names were sounding like black people's names, they were given like 45% less callbacks than the resumes that had white names. And this goes to show us that in America there is a bias, and it's a serious bias because it. They did also said they did the calculations. Economists that did the calculation, and they said like this refusal issue of not giving blacks opportunities as same as whites basically has cost black America 6 million jobs and 100,000 businesses. And you look at that and you see the economic impact of it. And then what happens to that? They also did a study where it's also on my Black Man's Guide where they found, British did the study, found that black doctors are paid $35,000 less than white doctors. So you see this loss of income just because you're black, because somebody has an opinion of what you are. Constitutes into the billions and billions of dollars. And what happens to us? How does that affect us? How does that affect black people? This lack of money that's given us because of simply what somebody thinks about us. People don't even calculate that. Out of all the major law firms in the United States, only 2% have black partners. 2%. No, we ain't looking at the reality of the situation. I think we black people, we ain't looking at, we got the wrong sense banking on the United States. There is a hidden cost that we affect us simply because whites have an opinion about us. And the psychological effect it has on us is totally tremendous. Now, I grew up many years ago. I'm 61 years old, and I've been around. And I lived in the United States and grew up there, worked in corporate America there. Grew up as a young boy there. And I'm telling you, today, blacks are suffering something that I didn't have to go through. back in the day. In the 60s and 70s and 80s, a black community was strong. I could go to work in the black community and never have to step outside. I don't have to see whites. I don't have to, I'm the majority. Everybody, where I go to the store, I have black people in the store. Where I go to schools, I go see my kid at school. School's all black, so not all black, but I mean, the kids is all black, But I go to the barbershop, I go to get my car fixed, go get my car washed. People washing my car is black. You know what I'm saying? I go to the supermarket, the people behind the counters is black. You get me, I can live comfortably in that sphere, in that area. I'm in Los Angeles, right around there, Crenshaw, Western Avenue, Vernon, not Santa Barbara, but King Boulevard, Slauson, Figueroa, Pico, and those areas like the Washington Boulevard. That's not been some of these streets in years. That was my home. You know what I'm saying? As long as I was in that area, I was comfortable. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel like people was looking at me. You know what I'm saying? In my neighborhood, I knew my neighbors. What's up, Bill? What's up, Jack? Hey, man, let's play some cards tomorrow. Let's get together with some dominoes. No problem. We even had house parties. So-and-so's giving a house party. Oh, it's so-and-so's house? I'll be there, That was a thing. We used to have house parties at my house. My older sisters used to have these, it would start off like, we just was there playing cards. And then people would come and then it would grow and grow. People would like, let's go buy some food. And then next thing you know, somebody put an Isley Brothers song on and everybody jumping up on the floor doing the walk. And that was a great time, But today's blacks, I forgot to mention, I can go to Jack in the Box, drive through, and the people who take my order is going to be black. You know what I'm saying? So, Taco Bell, all these things that, the stores had black people running inside them. And then during that time, the mayor of Los Angeles was Mayor Tom Bradley, which was a black mayor, served with distinction all those many years. So a lot of, even the social services where I would go when I needed help, there were black people running them, But today's brothers, to you black boys today, man, I feel sorry for you. Go to my neighborhood today and see what happened. Mexicans is now the majority. And some of the black clean areas, whites have now started moving back in. So you got whites living in the black community. I couldn't even fathom how that is. You know what I mean? But the most important point is that when I went outside, I could go walk around and I didn't feel no problem. But today, because the black community has been removed and destroyed, separated, and blacks have been moving to other areas, when you walk outside, you got this, today's blacks, you got this consciousness of who you are. You start seeing people and they start looking at you and you got to feel like, what do they think of me? Are they thinking I'm part of that gang that shot somebody that was on the news last night? Police are looking for 2 black suspects. Do I look like them? Are they looking at me wondering that or what? Because my neighbors damn sure ain't going to really talk to me. Especially my non-black neighbors, no. It's not like it was back in the 70s and 80s for black people in America. Today, it's really difficult. Don Baba, I plan on moving to Dakar in the year or less and start a business. My father is from there. Next year, the United States will change for the worse. That's why I haven't had kids here in the U.S. Well, you sure in the hell gonna have some kids in Africa because some women ain't gonna let you walk around be like that. So, hey, be prepared. Yeah, so today's blacks, my goodness, man. It just hurts me to think about that because you don't really realize how wonderful it was to have a black community where you could go and you could buy certain things. And, if your friends came from out of state, you could take them hang with your neighborhood. But if they come to visit you today, you just take them to the local store and then the person behind the counter not even black and both of you guys are looking like, did you poison my food? It's like that now. You know, and then you dare care. You had to tread carefully if you had to call the police on somebody who's threatening you. I think we've been seeing these shows that's been coming out where black people have been attacked by white people, or white people have been calling the police on black people, telling lies, saying that person is illegal or not illegal. The person is suspicious, don't belong in the neighborhood, and you live right next door to them. You know, and the police are, you don't know what to expect from them. They're treating you like, guilty before proven innocent. They got a policy that they're gonna handcuff blacks before they even talk to them. And this is for the officer's safety. My God, man, come on, officer's safety. What kind of how in the hell can you be in a community where our police officers fear the same people they're supposed to protect? So every time they talk to somebody, excuse me, sir, I'd like to talk to you, ask you a few questions. Can you put your hands behind your back, please, so I can, check you out before I talk to you, because you might shoot me for no reason. That is just utterly ridiculous. That's why I walk around here in Kenya, I see the policemen, and I mean, they just free, talk to somebody. They don't even think about, like, I got to search this person, I seen how they operate, because I used to be a policeman, and I was like, I see how they operate, and I'll be like, man, you could get shot 15 times, but who won't you? Why? In a peaceful society, it shouldn't even think like that, and they don't. But if you come fooling with them, oh, they can call some numbers on you, buddy, and they don't give in. They keep checking all through the community till they find you. There's some little gang around here, and hey, the police was like, everywhere you go, they was like, I don't, you don't see them. I just see the police trucks passing by here and there. But, in a matter of like a day, they was all caught, and it was like, that was the end of it. So Kenya police can be very aggressive when it comes time for that. And they can point out the hoodlums that they're looking for very quickly. They ain't got to be handcuffing every person on the street like, well, hold on, could be you. How come the black policemen in Kenya don't have a problem distinguishing between general public and the troublemakers, but the white policemen in America, they can't distinguish? Hell, even me, I can know, I can look at a guy and see like the guy is, that was part of my job. So why I got to have a policy? I got to handcuff you to talk to you. Joking. This is just a police state, and it's growing to be more of a police state. And how the hell am I supposed to be dealing with a policeman in America in the first place? The court system is so bad, and I want to give you brothers a heads up: when you get pulled over by the police, or when you get police decide they're going to arrest you for something, don't tell them shit. Don't tell them your name. Don't tell them nothing. Tell them lawyer. Want lawyer. That's it. Very important for blacks that are being arrested by police. Don't say anything. Get your shit in court. That's when you start talking. They ask you a question, I plead the fifth. You get me? They ask you a question, I don't know nothing. Don't talk. If you say I don't know, something that the policeman said, you said. So keep your mouth completely closed. And you wait for your attorney before your public defender or whatever, before you tell them everything. Don't tell the police nothing, because the first thing the public defender or your lawyer gonna ask you is, what did you tell the police? Word for word. And that's gonna determine your guilt or innocence, not the facts of the case. But you see, we blacks are in such a bad situation, we think that we can tell the police that I didn't do it. I'm innocent. And like that don't matter. That don't matter. We feel like we're victims as it is. So when we innocent, we want to make everybody know I'm not the one. I've never been arrested in my life. I've never been to jail. I've never done this. Like they care. They don't care. And that don't help you in court. So let me not use my criminal justice degree too much on the show today. Larry Bledge, those days are gone. Too much crime, violence, and reclaims here in America. Yeah, I was referring to not having and raising kids in the United States. Yeah, I understand what you mean when you say you're not, you don't have kids. And I'm saying that when you come to Africa, uh, the African women, such as you're probably going to have very little say in the matter. If your nature is any kind of strong, you, you're going to find a nice woman, and then that's going to be the end of it. You're going to have kids. The problem with the blacks another problem with us in the United States is so many black families don't have a home. They're not headed homes. Black men don't have. They're not the head of their home. 70% of blacks, I think it's probably more by now, of black houses are headed by females, and black men are running away from, as we've been told, their responsibilities as head of household. But the fact of the matter is, I can't see any black man running away from his house and his family, because of some pussy. Because this is what they're saying. He left me for another woman. That's a basic main line. And unfortunately, there's only one real reason why a black man will leave his family, and that is because of peace of mind. You lose your job, you come home, you tell your wife, you try to make her understand she's unsupported. If you got an unsupportive woman in the house, then that's a recipe for disaster. If black women, if your man is trying to explain something to you, you can't understand, fuck it. He's black, he's your man. Take his word for it. Give him the benefit of the doubt, not the propaganda that's on TV. So there's this big fat thing like, here's a man, he's running the household, he's paying bills and everything. Then he goes out one night and stays out overnight. The amount of money he's spending that night can't be comparable to the amount of money he used to invest in the family for how many years? You understand what I'm saying to you? So you're trying to look like all the money that he's supposed to be making for us is now going out to women on the outside, or drinking, or maybe, unfortunately, if it's drugs. And, a lot of the cases where the woman is unsupportive, you can't make it. And what you see is a lot of argument in the family is because you're trying to come to the realization that the woman is not supportive of the man, and therefore that relationship is pretty much done. You might argue back and forth about different little petty things, but at the end of the day, if the woman don't support him, the man gonna realize he's not being supported by the female. It's like, what's the purpose? How can that be a family? So I'm not saying this is in every black relationship, and I'm not saying that all women are at fault. No, men are at fault too. But if the woman in the family is not supportive of the man, and also if the man is not supportive of the woman, then it ain't going to work. And I say that the reason why we end up not supporting each other is because of the propaganda that's been filled in our heads, as if we can go and do this thing without one another, or that we can do a better job in a relationship without one another. Too many times you hear, well, I'm doing on my own. And there you go. Few times you hear the man say, look, I'm leaving. But definitely need that support. So anyway, the blacks today, if you had a black community, it could be even supportive inside there. 76% single mothers. Thank you, Larry. And then you don't have a black community too. That's sad. That's sad. You see, if you move to Africa, then your whole community is black. Everything is black. Everything is black. So that whole thing of being a minority is just relinquished from you. Now some people might say, "Oh, well, we'll still be foreigners. They'll still see us as different. And if you go to Africa, in fact, we look like more foolish." No, you won't feel more foolish. The longer you stay, the more you fit in. You're gonna be a novelty when they first see you, but 2-3 days down the line, you're just another nigga that's in the streets. You're just another black person. Once they come to realize that you ain't got no $1 trillion, ain't nobody gonna care one way or other. And they'll still be your friend. That's the key. They'll still talk to you, still be your friend, come eat at your house, invite you to their house. That's the good thing about it. It's in Kenya. So You know, they still do business with you. They ain't looking at me. I never seen nothing where they come and like decided they're gonna do business with me because I'm from, I'm black from America. It's nothing like that. But you got the cards, you got the juice, you got the talent, you got the ideas. Hey, you in? They gonna stick right with you. You see? So regardless of who you are, and if they find somebody that's better than you and they happen to be a Kenyan and you're not a Kenyan, they're gonna go with that person because they're better than you, not because you a black American. This just don't work like that. It's because Africans have tribes. So this tribe is like this tribe is like that. So you just like another tribe. They don't know how to deal with you. You just get classified as these type of people. So that's all over Africa. So you ain't got to worry about feeling out of place when you come to Africa because you from America. You ain't got that shit tattooed on your head. You ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm telling you from 20 years plus experience. You don't have nothing to worry about. Then you come here, when you settle down in your area, when they all get to know you, and they're going to know you quick. They're going to know you're a black American before you even get your shit off the furniture off the truck. And then you'll see like people say hi to you, and then maybe somebody might come up to you and ask you a few questions, and then that's it. You just there. So Dollar Bill, what's up? Dollar Bill, send a bill and enjoy this program. In fact, the rest of you, see, Dollar Bill made me realize that there's some dollars that you guys are holding that we can get. You can throw into the westernunion.com and support this channel. So thank you for an advance, Dollar Bill. I know you're going to do hook me up. Bill, where? What's up, man? Should I go to Kenya or Tanzania? Now I'm going to answer your question, Dollar Bill. Is it going to be worth $10 for you to make the best choice? I'm going to give you some advice that is going to save you a lot of money. Because ain't nobody came on here and told me the advice you gave me was whack. And Kenyans are on this channel and they'll tell you all the time, what Armin is saying is true. And there's not many of us that's going to give you the inside information. And I'm not going to fear anything. Me, I'm a black belt in martial arts. I have kicked hundreds and hundreds of people's ass. Okay, I have trained people to kick people's ass. So a fear for me is not a problem. I can speak my mind physically and mentally. So I'm gonna give you the good advice, and I want to be able to shout out to you the way I shout out to Kevin Tucker and them. Thanks for the super chat. Let's keep this channel going, okay? And for the rest of you guys that are watching, yes, this means you too. Because the views don't mean much to me. It only means that I got some people to support. And right now we got about 5-6 people that are supportive of this channel. And you come on a regular basis, and I'm your friend. You can ask me anything. When I see you, I know you. And with a name like Dollar Bill, I think I should work. You can do this now. And we're all gonna hear that phone ring and say you got a message from M-Pesa. Just my wife's name. So anyway, should I go to Kenya or Tanzania? I think I just said Kenya is the best choice because of the language issue. Tanzania right now and before is more Swahili than any other place. So Swahili is the language of their computers, and the language of their stores, language. You see, they really pushing Swahili. And when you first come to Africa, one thing that can really tie you down is the fact that there's a language barrier. And from the language barrier, it becomes a cultural barrier. So now when you start dealing with the Tanzanian